Welcome to Ident Papers. This is a space that's created for us to answer life's most important questions. These are questions that we cannot afford to leave unanswered. Ever wondered who you are? Asked yourself where you're coming from, where we're coming from as humanity? Ever wondered how much you can actually do? What you are even supposed to do in the first place? Have you ever thought about where you're supposed to be going? Questions about destiny? What happens after we die? These are existential questions that we've all asked ourselves in many different ways and forms. And this is the space where we'll talk about these questions one by one. And I believe having very clear, crystal clear answers to these questions is a non-negotiable for a higher quality of life. If you actually want to live a meaningful life that will make an impact before you actually live, before you die, you have to sit down and have a conversation about these questions. Now, this is a space where we'll do this together. So come with me. Let's go on a discovery journey. Let's go on a rediscovery journey to discover the true essence of who you are, to discover what you're supposed to be doing, to discover where you're supposed to be going. And of course, the only person who qualifies to point us in that direction is God, our creator, the one who made you, me, and you. So these are biblical answers for life's most important questions, life existential questions: who you are, where you're coming from, what you're supposed to be doing, which is your purpose, what you can do, how much you can do, and where you're supposed to be going. But before we embark on this self-rediscovery journey, which is exciting for me and I hope it is exciting for you too, there's a decision that you have to make today if you haven't already made that decision. And this is a decision to say, I will take charge. I will take full responsibility of my own life. Now, it's very possible that me and you can actually sit on this same space and we're going to have a conversation and you're actually going to gain understanding, which is knowledge, crystal clear understanding and knowledge about who you are, what you're supposed to be doing, where you're coming from, and where you're supposed to be going, how much you can actually do, the full potential that resides within you, your God-given potential. But if you have not made the decision to take full charge of your own life, you are still going to become, you are still going to be, you are still going to live as a victim of life. And so this is why I actually think before we even before we even begin to tackle these questions, you have to make the decision to say, you know what, I will take full charge of my own life. I will take full responsibility of my own life and the direction in which it's going. And do you know where that starts from? It starts from taking responsibility of your past, which means you accept, you actually recognize and understand that the way your life is set up today, the way you are today, is largely because of the decisions that you have made. And of course, there are so many things that you could not control from the past. There are so many things that happen, like where you were born. You did not decide who your parents are. But guess what? God has given us an amazing freedom to choose, an amazing gift of freedom of choice. And through this gift, He has actually bestowed upon us power to decide in which direction our life can go and should go. And of course, I know there's a lot of Christians who believe we live according to the way God wants. My life is the way God wants. And guess what? That's true to an extent because we live within God-given, God-created universe and world, God-created planet, and we are actually bound by certain rules and laws and principles that He has created. But within these same principles, God has given us freedom to choose to what extent we can interact with them, to what extent we can become what He wants us to become. And God's will for our life, God's plan for our life is already given before we are born. But He gives us an opportunity to choose to walk into it, to choose to become that which He wants us to become, in which case power still resides with us. Because even when He has a will, even when He has a plan, even when He has a purpose for your life, for my life, He is standing outside, He is knocking, and He's waiting for you to actually what? Rise up and say, you know what, I'll open for you. You dine with me, I dine with you, and let's work on this. Let me become all that you have made me to become. And of course, we are going to talk so much about what you were created to become, what you were designed to be, what you were designed to do within this world. But before we have that conversation, I want you to actually understand the fact that you are today because of the decisions that you have made. Now, let's quit Let's stop. Let's decide that we will no longer be victims of life. That means we cannot blame anybody else for the way we are. You cannot blame your auntie anymore. You cannot blame your parents. You cannot blame your job. You cannot blame your country. You cannot blame anybody for the place and the space and the quality of your life today. So you have to rise up saying, I will not become a victim of life. I am a victor. I will not live to see what life offers me, while I can actually walk up and decide what life should look like, and decide what life should look like, not only for me, but even for others. You can actually contribute to this world. If you understand this power, this gift, this special ability that God has given to us, you'll understand that you are actually the master of your own life. And actually, when I say master, you have to understand it contextually, because we are by ourselves before God comes into our space, and he actually shows us everything that he has made, he has done. He wishes for us to become the love, and we can actually choose to say, you know what, I like the direction in which you want me to go. I like all that you have made me to be. I love and want to have a relationship with you. And so I want you to understand that you are the one who's in charge. And this is why when you become a Christian, when you have a relationship with God, the fact that you let him take lead, the fact that you let God do his will and perform his purpose through you is actually such a valuable thing. Because if you didn't have a will to begin with, then why does it matter? You'll be like the tree or a robot that is controlled. But you can actually decide. You can actually accept to work with God or not. And so today I want you to accept and realize the fact that you are the one who's responsible for your own life. Things have happened to you. I get it. And all of us have had bad experiences. We are all coming from a certain space. But today we can all decide to say, you know what? I am going in a different direction than I am coming from. You can actually say, instead of blaming the things that have happened to me, I will turn them. I will ask God to help me turn them into opportunities from which I can rise to take up, to actually walk into the purpose that he has created me for. So you are in charge. You have to decide this morning to say, from onwards today, I will no longer be a victim of life. I will no longer be a victim of the way people treat me. I will no longer succumb into pressures of life so that I can have this victim mentality to say, well, I am like this because of this and that. You are like this because you have chosen. Even when people come into your life and they ruin things for you, they hurt you, X, Y, Z happened, it doesn't matter what happened. You are the one who had the key. You opened for these people. You let them come into your heart. You let them come into your own space. You gave them time. You talked to them. You are the one calling them, or even if they called you, you accepted the call. They came to visit you. You opened the door. You had the power to actually say, you know what, this does not work for me. And I know you may be asking, what about abuse? Some of us were actually abused when we were young, when we were powerless, when we were vulnerable. And some of those people who were abusers were actually people who were close to us, people who were supposed to take care of us. Some of those people were even our very own parents. And I know how helpless that can make you feel. But I want to tell you that the fact that you are still breathing today, you are still alive, means you now have power to take your life in a different direction. And of course, some of us were born in countries where there are wars. Half of our families were killed. There are so many things that has happened to you that you had no power or control over. But guess what? With the power of choice, with the power to decide, you still can take your life in a different direction. And I'm trying to say, you cannot continue to walk. You cannot continue living in your past. You cannot continue living in cycles because of what happened. You don't know what happened to me when I was young. You know, when I was 5, my uncle did this. When I was 19, some guy did XYZ. You don't know what my ex was like. Quit living the past. You have to understand that you are here today now. Today is a new day. Even God says, behold, I do a new thing. Guess what the new thing is? He has started doing a new thing by giving you a new day. You have a choice to make. You can actually say, you know what? I will choose a different mindset today. I will choose a different mentality today. Yesterday was a painful day. I was raped. I was victimized. I was abused. I was harassed. XYZ happened and it was painful. I sympathize with you. I know how hard it can be. But I'm trying to say, David says, for the sake of my people, for the sake of the house of the Lord, say today, for the sake of the purpose for which I was created for. There are so many people who are waiting on you. There are so many people who are hoping that you will rise from your pain, that you will decide to go on a journey to heal, to become whole again, that you will live beyond your past, that you will mention about your past as a testimony to say, you know what, I was raped when I was 5, but here I am. I have still worked with the Lord. I have decided, I have used my power of freedom of choice to choose a different life. So of course, abuse is part of life. Even as you embark on this journey, you are going to make so many mistakes. Forget about the people that hurt you. Forget about the things that other people do to you. You yourself, you will make your own mistakes. Every man is his own enemy, they say. And so I want to tell you that when you make mistakes, you have to learn to accept as a learning experience. You have to take it as a learning experience. And you have to say, you know what? I have just discovered one way that doesn't work. I have just seen another way that doesn't work. And the more you grow, you will learn that mistakes are very much part of success. Mistakes and failing are very much part of growing and becoming. Even God knows, and He says, a just man will fall 7 times. What about perfection? Perfection only comes when we are willing to make so many mistakes, because they are mistakes that you'll have to make for you to learn how to not make them again. And you reach a place where you can no longer make mistakes. But it all begins when you decide, I am in charge. I will take full responsibility of my own life. There will be so many things to learn. There will be so many things to unlearn. There will be so many things to discover. There will be so much studying to do. There will be so many things to actually sit and introspect and meditate upon. And you have to be ready. You have to make this decision today to say, you know what? I will do whatever it takes for me to live and fulfill my purpose. It begins with this self-rediscovery journey, but you have to already be decided. You have to be ready, and you have to know that it all depends on you. Even if nobody wakes up, even if nobody calls me, even if nobody encourages me, even if nothing happens, I will still wake up and make it happen, because it is my responsibility. It is my success. Of course, it is my responsibility. And like Joshua says, I and my house, you have to make a decision. You yourself, you have to, of course, you will need so much support from other people. God is with you until the end, but you have to make the decision. You have to decide within your heart. And so you have today to decide that I will always decide to wake up as a person who's in charge, who's responsible for their own life, who takes full accountability, full responsibility and accountability of their own life. I will not blame anyone. I will obviously seek out help. I will ask for help. I'll seek out counsel. I will ask for advice. I will go all out and ask for any assistance I can get. But guess what? My success and the direction of my life does not depend on them. It depends on me. It depends on me. I have to wake up. I will pray. I will seek out the Lord. It depends on who? Me again. Look in the mirror hard at yourself and say, my success is waiting for me. I am the key to my own success. God can do so much. People can do so much. Put all right opportunities in your face. But if you have not decided, those things will be useless. So you have to decide to say, I will take charge today. And with this power, with this understanding of taking responsibility, you'll have to understand that you have to learn to say no. You cannot let people treat you anyhow. Of course, we are going to talk so much about what we are supposed to be doing, but you have to already know. You have to already be decided to say, you know what? Once I know what I am, once I know what I'm supposed to do, I will take responsibility. I will rise up in the morning and do what I'm supposed to do. I will not wait. I will not discuss and negotiate. You cannot sit around and wait for people to help you to become. People don't care. They also have their own business. They all have their own things to do. They have their own plans. You have to take your own responsibility. If you are not happy, your own problem. It's a you problem. So please, from onwards today, me and you, we cannot blame anybody. We can, even when the time comes and everything has been said and done, no one in this earth will have an opportunity, or actually will be able to blame God, because within where we are, God has given us all the opportunities, all the resources, everything that we need to become and to do all that He has created us to become. This means that you cannot blame God. You cannot blame the weather. You cannot blame anything else. And so I want you to actually think upon this. And today decide to say, what? I will take charge. I will take full responsibility of my own life. And of course, God is the one who makes us who we are. Even living, we live in Him, we move in Him. Even the very oxygen that we breathe, He is the one who gives it to us. But within the parameters of His love, His grace, His sustenance, He has given us the freedom to choose how much we can be, how much we can do, how much we can commune with Him, how much we can connect with Him, how much we can impact the world, how much we can let the things of the world influence us, how much we can abide in Him. Do you understand how many things depend on you? And of course, people, we think all these things are just going to be done by God. But guess what? No, the ball is in your court. You have to make the decision to say, I will take responsibility of my own life, and I will actually rise up and do things that take me to the direction in which my life should be going. Wherever you want to go, the Bible teaches a principle of importunity. Talks about the widow who actually rises up in the morning, says, I have someone who's oppressing me, treating me badly. I have to seek justice for myself. Goes to who? Goes to the judge, and she talks to the judge. The judge doesn't care, because poor old granny, who cares about the poor? But guess what? She wakes up another day. She keeps coming. She keeps coming. This is what is called importunity. You cannot just try things and quit and say, well, the Lord must not have meant it to be because you tried once and it didn't happen. You have to actually take it seriously and say, you know what? I will not quit until it happens. What about the friend who came to a friend because he had a friend and didn't have bread, and the friend came in the night? He was knocking and it was like, listen, I'm not leaving until I have the bread, because I have a visitor who needs the bread. You cannot give up. So with responsibility, with you taking charge, it means it depends on you. That means if you quit, then that's the end of the story. Nobody's coming to save you. Even when Jesus comes to save you, He asks you to make a decision. Will you accept me? He will not come and make decisions for you. So look, I just want to break it to you to say, you are the reason why you are the way you are. Of course, this is within the context. This is beyond all the things you cannot control. You cannot control your race. I don't know. You can't control where you were born, which parent, and all of that. We know how many things we cannot control. But within the space of the things we cannot control, they are embedded in so many things that we can actually control. So when it comes to the day when you are about to breathe your last breath, you will not have an excuse. You will not have an excuse. You will not have anything, anyone or anybody to actually blame, to say my life is XYZ, my life has been like this because of that person. So today, I want you to rise up and say, I will take charge. The buck stops here. I am no longer a victim of life. You will wake up tomorrow as a victor, not as a victim of life. You make things happen. Nothing will happen to you again. You will wake up and work with all the powers. The Bible talks about the power that works within us. All the power, all the grace, all the resources, all the people who's been put in your life to bring your life to the space where you're supposed to bring it to. Don't complain anymore. I'm not saying don't express yourself, but don't complain and give up and wait. You'll wait for a lifetime and nobody's coming. Jesus has already died. God has already given you the power. You are breathing. You are walking around. 2 legs, even if you may have 1 leg. We've seen people with 1 leg, 1 eye, missing parts, doing great, amazing things. You have no excuse. So wake up and actually realize that You are the one. You are the reason why you are where you are. If things are not the way you want them to be, it's because of you. If you are failing, guess what? Because of you again. If things are also going good, everyone is self-made, but only the successful will accept it, because the unsuccessful like to blame things. I was once the person who actually blames others. Now I was like, my parents, my brothers, you don't understand, my friends, you don't understand where I grew up. Well, my job, it stops today. You are the one who's in charge. You are the one who's in control. Take responsibility. Be accountable. Don't blame others. Look, every time things are wrong, look for the part which you contributed and look for ways in which you can change it. Because if you continue blaming people, you will die like that, and your life will not be in the place where it's supposed to be. You will not fulfill your purpose. You have to take responsibility and take charge. Even when adversity comes, and adversity will come, the Bible talks about it. Every business person knows about it. Every person who's successful knows about it. Well, the world is full of adversity. It's just a reality. I don't care you believe in God or you don't. Adversity is everywhere. But guess what? You can actually grow in adversity, or you can become a victim. So in this crazy, complex world, there's no space for you to be a victim. There's no space for you to be victimized. Even when bad things are happening to you, you're supposed to keep holding your head up and say, you know what? I have some part of this. I have something that I can control. I can control my attitude. I can control how I react. And so before we embark on this important journey, before we go into discovering who you are, what you're supposed to be, actually your true identity, before we actually embark on a journey to find out what you are supposed to do, your purpose, let's not die working in jobs, doing things that do not fulfill us, living way below our potential. Before we discover where we are supposed to be going, the destinies are waiting for us. We have to decide that we are going to do our part. We are going to work with the powers, with God, with the resources, with everything that has been given to us to become all that we can become. And so I want you to decide today to say, I am in charge. I will take charge. I will take full responsibility. I will be accountable. I will no longer be a victim. I will not blame my auntie anymore, my cousin. Don't blame your parents. Stop it. You cannot blame your job. You cannot blame where you are. You cannot blame the things around you, the environment. You have to actually look within. Have conversation. We have so much resources around us. We have resources within the physical space, and guess what? We have so much resources within the spiritual space. You can connect to spirituality and you can ask questions. How can we fix this? How can we actually deal with these things? And we'll have so many conversations, but I want you to decide today. And this thing I keep repeating because it's a very important thing. I am re-emphasizing it because you actually have to think about it. You have to understand that it's because of you. Look in the mirror, look at yourself so hard and say, today, all that will be in my life will be because I have decided and I have participated. Nothing will happen to you when you are sleeping in the bed. You are being passive about life. Nothing will. The only thing that will happen when you are sleeping and being passive is missing opportunities. Missing opportunities to become and to contribute and to grow and to reach the kind of life that you were created to live. And so before I leave, I want you to repeat after me. Say, I will take charge. I will take full responsibility. I am in charge. I will be accountable. I will no longer be a victim. I will not let life happen to me. Rather, I will make life happen. I am not a victim, but a victor by the power invested in me, by the power that works in me, by the power given to me. I will wake up and seize all the opportunities that God has littered in my life. I will wake up and work with those people around me to become all that I can be and all that I'm supposed to be. I will use the adversity, the problems that come in my way to rise up and become more and grow, actually build my character. And I will not blame any other person for my life. I will not blame God. I will not blame my parents. I will not blame the country. Whatever the list you have, burn it today, because you cannot fulfill purpose. Have you actually go and ask, have conversation, listen around? All successful people take it within their hearts. They accept life as it comes so that they can make it whatever they understand that they should make it. So in this space where we will discover about who you're supposed to be, in this space where we are about to embark on a journey to discover all that you're supposed to be, remember, it all depends on you. If you do not wake up, if you do not understand that actually you have the power, you are the one who has the responsibility to actually work with God to become what you're supposed to be, it will not work. And so I want you to wake up today. I want you to walk away today saying, I will take charge. Every single day, I am the one who's in charge. I am the one who takes full responsibility for my own life and the direction in which it should go.